Guys, I'm sitting outside to record this video, and I just realized I look like a hot mess, but it's also like 1 o'clock in the morning, and seeing as I apparently don't sleep a whole lot, I thought I would do a video for you guys. I can't figure out what to do with my hair. I had my hair cut short, and now I just can't seem to style it any way that I like. I mean, it's cute, but just trying to pull it back, and because it's super curly, it just does like weird things. But anyways, okay, let me give you the rundown and we'll get into what life is like right now. So this is week 28 post gastric bypass surgery. I had my surgery in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I had two surgeons. I was incredibly blessed to have the two surgeons that I had. Wow, words. So that was done October 24th of 2017. So I'm about 6.5 months out, and so far things have gone fairly well. If you've been watching my videos, then you know the different things. If you haven't been, welcome to the channel, and I'll give a brief rundown. So right after surgery, I had no complications. Things went really well. I was lucky because the way that they do surgeries where I'm from, which is in Kingston, Ontario, people who have their surgeries done here often can't swallow their pills right after surgery. They have to crush up their meds and take them that way. In Toronto, where I had mine done, they leave a slight, like the opening is bigger, and so you can take meds right away. So that made, I think, the transition a little bit easier. So I was really thankful for that. About month 3, I started getting nauseous when I would eat. So I still struggle with that. I eat certain things and I get really, really sick. Unfortunately, it seems to be a lot of like my proteins and stuff. But I'm starting to figure out which proteins and how they're done cause me to feel sick. So one of the things that I've learned from me is like organic meat seems to sit better in my stomach. So if I go to a butcher to get ground beef, I don't get sick or nauseous. But if I was just to go to the grocery store and buy your run-of-the-mill ground beef, oftentimes I will feel sick or nauseous from that. A lot of protein powders haven't worked for me. There is one kind that I've been able to find, which is called Splash, I think, and it tastes like Swedish berries. It's actually really good, but I have to drink it while it's still cool, so I don't mix it with cold water because I find it clumps, but I can't let it warm up either because then it just doesn't taste good. So I do like cool water, and I just try to drink that really quickly, and outside of that, things like Premier protein shakes have worked really well for me to get in protein. So I haven't lost a whole lot of weight since last week. I'm only down 2 pounds. I hit 248 as of yesterday morning. I had to think about that. As of yesterday morning. So I feel like my weight loss is slowing a bit, but if I was to be completely honest, I have not been eating the healthiest or the most proper. One of the things that I found out is that I can eat sugar. Any kind of sugar, chocolate, candies, anything like that doesn't seem to make me feel queasy. If I eat a lot of them, then I get really sick, but I can kind of snack on them throughout the day and I don't feel sick. So I've been defaulting a lot, and I think a lot to deal with like my emotions. A lot of carbs don't bother me, so like chips don't bother me. Rice does, potatoes don't. Depending on how they're done, and even certain breads don't bother me. So I've been allowing myself to have some of these things that really aren't healthy, but they're comfort foods. So a lot of this video, I guess I just wanted to talk about that because I've been thinking about it a lot because I want to get the best results out of this tool. And if I continue to allow myself to emotionally eat, I'm just going to wind up back in the same spot. Not because my tool didn't work, but because I didn't put the effort and energy into changing my thought process and changing the patterns that got me there in the first place. So I never was a huge, like, I've never eaten a lot, but I've always eaten the wrong things. So I could go all day and not eat anything. Even before my surgery, I had no problems not eating all day, but then I'd get to nighttime and I would crave chips and chocolate and ice cream and pizza and all of those high calorie, unhealthy foods. And I find, like, now dealing with the different emotional states that I have been, so between dealing with my mental health, dealing with the stuff with my marriage, finding housing, different things like that, I've started falling back into those older patterns, and also because my income took a huge hit, it is, to me, easier to go and buy, like, quick food, and I'm not necessarily talking about, like, McDonald's, but, like, pre-made, store-bought crap, essentially. The downfall to that is it really doesn't help with my weight loss. So I'm working on figuring out what does work for me, how to make it budget-friendly, how to work with all of that. So I've been doing a little bit more research, looking more into, like, modified low-carb and how to do that budget-friendly. Sorry, there's something in my eye. How to do that more budget-friendly and stuff like that. So as I was saying earlier, I got my hair cut. I did that for my birthday. I looked like a hot mess. I had showered and then let it dry, and then it was annoying me because I was doing some house cleaning today, and I put it back, and this is what happens when that happens. So anyways, so I still deal with, like, nausea and vomiting when I eat. It's not as bad as it was even a month ago, but I don't want to get to the place where I'm not eating my proteins and I'm not eating my vegetables and instead replacing them with carbs, because I find mashed potatoes easier to handle than ground beef. And so I'm just I've just been working on different ways to change that. One of the things that I found that works really well for me is canned meat. So, like, flakes of chicken, flakes of ham, tuna, those kinds of things mixed up with just some mayo. I don't use a lot of mayo, but just enough to kind of, like, moisten it and make it almost like you would a sandwich. And then I just eat it straight out of the bowl, and I'll eat, I don't even know how many bites, but, like, I'll make, like, a can, and it could last me 24 hours, and I'd literally snack on that all day. So I find that helps a lot. Getting those protein shakes in really helps. Eggs have been really good, so scrambled, boiled, however, but eating eggs really, really helps. And then I'm trying to think of what else. What else have I been doing? Just trying different ways to get protein in. That's the big thing. And trying to figure out what works for me, what's not working for me. I'm sorry if I sound really weird. I got a cold on the weekend into the beginning of this week, and I'm just getting over the congestion phase, but because I'm asthmatic, everything sinks into my lungs, so I've been coughing like crazy, so my voice is a little bit hoarse and raw, and then I have a history with seizures. I don't know if I've talked about that on here before, but I have a history with seizures, and I was 3 years seizure-free, and then about a month ago, I had 2 seizures, not back-to-back, but, like, had one on a Saturday, and then the following Thursday I had another one, which we figured out was attributed to a new medication that they had given me, which causes your seizure threshold to be lowered, and then I guess I had another one tonight. I had laid down for a nap, and I was told that I had a seizure, not as bad as the other 2, but still, so I'm a little messed up and all over the place, but I really wanted to come and make a video and just check in with you guys, and I wanted to sit outside because I love springtime. It's my favorite season. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a little bit chilly, but it's absolutely gorgeous, so if I look a little tired and I sound a little sick, those are the reasons why. But back to what I'm jumping all over the place. Back to what I was saying. I I think the biggest battle that we all face when we're dealing with weight loss in general, but when we're dealing with this tool, because I know for me, I don't get hungry. So I know when I'm craving something that it's more like what I'm used to. It's how I'm used to like handling things or dealing with things. And I think especially because I have a history of eating disorders, and bulimia was the biggest part of that. And so there's that whole binge purge cycle. And now even if I was to binge, it's a lot less than what it used to be. Like, you know, I could sit down and eat a whole like large size bag of chips before, and eat a chocolate bar and eat ice cream, because I was emotionally eating, and I didn't think anything of it because I would just go throw it up. Now for me, like, binge eating is sitting down and eating a small bag of chips, but it's still relying on that food to make me feel better. And so I think for all of us, this surgery can trigger a lot of emotions because it's a lot of things that we need to change. It takes away a coping mechanism. We all have coping mechanisms. We all have things that we rely on. Everybody has unhealthy coping mechanisms. That's just part of being human. So for some people, they would use gambling or sex or eating, or the list goes on and on of things that we could all use. Some people rely on coffee, those kinds of things. Everybody has a vice that they use to help them deal with whatever it is that they need to deal with. For me, it's between my self-injury and the eating disorders. That was huge. And so I would be remiss to say that I didn't have just a binge eating disorder, but I also had bulimia. I had eating disorder not otherwise specified because I would restrict my food and then I would eat and throw up. But there were times when I would just binge and then throw up. So now it's training myself to want to treat myself healthy and respect myself and change myself for me. If I was to be completely honest about why I had the surgery, I had it a lot for my husband. I did it because he would talk about all of these things that he wanted to go do, or he'd be like, oh, I want to go hiking, and I couldn't do it. I was like, I'm too out of shape. I hurt too badly. You know, when you're carrying around 384 pounds of body weight, that's a lot of pressure on your joints and your muscles. I have 2 ACL injuries on the same knee, which was aggravated by the being overweight. So a lot of it was for him because I was like, oh, well, he'll love me more as a wife if I can do these activities that he wants to do. Or, we didn't have the best intimate life because as you get bigger, it can be harder to be intimate with your partner. And so I was like, well, he'll love me more if I can perform better in that way. And then we were trying to get pregnant. We had seen a fertility specialist who basically said, we won't help you get pregnant until your BMI is under a certain point. Go get gastric bypass. It's the best option for you. And then if you still need help, we'll look at helping you. And so the other reason that I did it was because I was like, I want kids. He wants kids. This is my part to play in doing that. So this is why I'm going to do this. And since my relationship status has changed, my mentality needs to change to, it's not about doing this for making someone else happy. It's not about doing this to fulfill a dream, even though, I don't think I'd ever give up on the dream of being a mom, whatever that looks like. I need to do this first and foremost for me. I need to make these choices because I want to be healthy, because I want to live a long life, because I have goals and plans and dreams. And while I suffer with a lot of chronic illnesses, it doesn't mean that I can't achieve those things. Those things will be easier to achieve, though, if I'm not carrying around a lot of excess weight. The back pain may never go away, and I may just have to modify some of those hopes and dreams and plans to work around that. My fibromyalgia will never go away. My hemiplegic migraines, those things aren't going to go away. My seizures aren't going to go away. My bipolar isn't just going to go away. Those are things that I'm just going to have to learn to adjust my perception of what my hopes and dreams are. But the thing that I can work on is making the healthier choices, getting enough sleep, exercising properly, eating healthy, not giving in to the temptation of like, oh, I've had a really stressful day, or I'm feeling really emotional right now, so I'm just going to sleep all day, or I'm just going to eat chocolate all day, or I'm not going to eat it all day. Like, it's one extreme or the other often. I'm not going to eat anything all day because I feel fat and gross and disgusting, or I feel fat, gross, and disgusting, so why should I care? I'm going to eat the foods that aren't healthy for me. So I think, it's really learning to adjust that so that it's something that I'm doing for me, and because I want to care about myself, and because I want to love myself, because I love what they say when they say, you teach people how to treat you. And if I can't treat myself with respect, if I can't love myself enough, then nobody else is going to do that for me. Nobody else is going to love me and respect me the way that I deserve if I can't give it to myself. So there's a lot of things that I'm learning on this process. I find that the gastric bypass brings up a lot of things that you never thought about, or maybe had thought about but kind of pushed off to the side. I've always been an advocate for you could be healthy at any size. It's not about being thin. Body positivity, acceptance, those are big things for me. And honestly, if I didn't lose another pound, while I would be sad I didn't reach my goal, if I knew that I was still doing everything that I needed to do, I was getting my proteins in, I was exercising, I was sleeping, I was eating properly, that I'm doing all of those things, then I could say with confidence that, yes, I should have body positivity because I'm respecting my body, I'm doing everything that I can, and this is just where my body's going to stay. But if I'm not doing those things, how can I say that I believe in body positivity? Because I'm positively not treating myself properly. And so I think that's one of the big things that needs to be kind of addressed with bariatric surgery. I know here they don't do a lot of it. I don't know about other places, but I'd love to see more counseling, more understanding, more work with people on the mental side of what this all looks like, on overcoming those things that we fall back on all the time, more class training and things like that, even before people have surgery, more divulging into what's your motivations, what are your big reasons for getting this surgery, what's motivating you, are you doing this for you, or are you putting your happiness on somebody else, are you doing this for somebody else? And I know that people will still slip through the cracks, because we all know how to say what people want to hear, we all know how to give the answers, but it would be a good step towards helping people to maybe stop and think about, what are the reasons I'm doing this? What are the things that I need to be more aware of after surgery to keep my eye open for? Things that shocked me, we're been doing a lot of research on the mental health aspect of the amount of people who commit suicide after bariatric surgery is astonishing. The amount of people who wind up with eating disorders after bariatric surgery is astonishing. And I'm not saying that to scare anybody away from it, but the fact that I think there needs to be more education for anybody going into the surgery so that they know, and that they're not ashamed. No one should ever be ashamed to say, you know what, I had this and I was okay before, but there are some mental games going on in my head. There's going to be mental games. Your body changes so quickly. The fact that I've lost 136 pounds in 6 months, that doesn't happen normally. Most people lose between 2 to 10 pounds a month when they're eating healthy and exercising. They'll lose 100 pounds in a year. That's 12 months. I've done it in half the time because of this tool, which is amazing, and I wouldn't take it back. But it also means that there's body image issues. That means that there's loose skin issues, which creates a whole nother issue. There's the way that people look at you and treat you. I've had more attention from men now than I had at 384 pounds, obviously. But that could play some really big games with some people in terms of like, suddenly you're getting attention, people are complimenting you all the time. And if you don't know how to handle that, if you're mentally not in a place where you can kind of process through that, it's going to create a lot of problems. So these are the things that I'm working through now. If any of you have struggled with this or have struggled with it and overcome it, or found tools or resources that you find really helpful, or you have questions, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to have conversations with you guys about this. Anyways, I realize that this video is like 20 minutes long, so I'm going to wrap it up because ain't nobody got time for that. But I hope you all are doing fantastically. I hope you're enjoying spring, that you're getting out to enjoy some beautiful sunshine, the beautiful flowers, and that you all are just doing amazingly. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.